Okay. Good morning. So this is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching, and I'm going to jump right into it this morning. Uh, so um, let's just start with the big picture and work our way backwards, right? How about that? So if we go to our wherever my NQ profile is, maybe I deleted it accidentally. I may have long 60-minute NQ. Oh, I know it's wrong here. Here we go. There we go. Here's NQ profile, right? So if you look at it, you're like, man, you're still going to go, well, that's a bear market, right? But it's not so bearish when you look at it like this. Okay, so you'll see we came yesterday right off a, that shouldn't even be a naked volume point of control, is it? That's weird that it did that. There we go. The naked volume points of control that are nearest by are down here. 25055 and excuse me, and then there's a TPO naked point of control at 25274, right? But most importantly, look, here's your last low, right? There we go. Let me reset this picture. Here's your last low. So for me, I'm just not bearish because we've impulse moved. And we're just retracing that impulse move. So it's one of three options. We're either going to come in and hold this 50-60 or test just behind and come back up, or we'll come out and take that swing low. Either way, I have to take out the November swing low for me to think bearish thoughts, right? Because it's just a sneeze away to get back to this high, right? Really, if you inverted this day right here, we'd be right back at the highs for the end of the year. We're pushing right into the 50-60, which is down here in this between 25,150 and 24,950 with a naked point of control at 25,055, right? The if capturing the trap is what is interesting, you have three easy spots here, right? 25,284, 24,855, 24,765, and in between there you'll have some Globex lows that were in between, but those are the keys down below, right? So I've learned to use profile actually less and less because it's okay, but it doesn't tell us where the traps are, and the traps are the really important part of the trade, right? That's really the genius in Adam's thinking is just once you're trapped, it's just a matter of how is it going to go back the other way, not if it'll go back the other way. Same story on ES, although ES is stronger than NQ right now, right? So that's the bigger picture look, right? The more important picture to me is where we are relative to VWAP. So I want to tell everyone, I'm going to rewrite the algos so that it simply goes, if the 100 is underneath VWAP, we will look for shorts. If the 100 is over VWAP, we will look for longs. That's how the algo is going to work because it simply works better. So I'm going to start with ES. The volume was off yesterday on ES. So I'm going to go back to yesterday morning. It was 6 for 8. And really what you want to focus on is the first four trades, right? So if you'll look, we opened up. This VWAP starts at 7 in the morning, right? So if you look up, the 100 is clearly underneath VWAP to start the day. Now, some people have an intellectual challenge with this, right? You can start the VWAP wherever you want. For me, it works right where the news story comes in, and it gives me a more accurate picture at the open than using the 24-hour VWAP, the VWAP from the prior day. The furthest I would go back would be Asia beginning, and I'll show you that in a second, okay? But the point is behind this is that VWAP was below. So now just go to your simplest trades. This becomes trade one on the turn. I'll go on the turn in the direction up. Trade one, trade two, trade three, and is that trade four was the stop. Trade five, And I'm calculating this with a 6-point stop. Trade 6, right? And as in any natural way where you'd want the counter rotation back up, I missed one. This would have been 2 bars up. This would have been a stop right there. And that's exactly my point is you're going to have to determine, like when you're banging at the lows, you don't want to keep shorting, right? You want to lift. Trade. So there's one more stop in there. There's 3 stops. See this right at the low? Unless you are absolutely certain we are flushing, you do not want to short right off the low of the day, right? So here's your next trade. And if you'll notice, just think about the rotation, right? That's 68.68 to 68.86, almost a 20-point rotation up. You want it to lift, right? So that you can work some shorts. You don't want to add yourself to the short pile, right? Is basically what I'm saying. And that was the end of the day, okay? Now if you go to NQ and you do the same process, right? So you're not even taking into consideration, hey, where's support and hey, where's resistance, right? You're just going and looking, going, the 100 is underneath right there. So prior to that, right? Prior to that in the morning, the 100 was for a nanosecond above VWAP right there, okay? Right here, it crosses down right in here, okay? So now go take your trades on the turn, on process, okay? This turns into trade 1. This is trade 2. This is trade 3, it's a stop. Trade 4, that gives you more than enough bars to scale off. You didn't get a home run out of it. This is where it's important. Had an algo fired here with the 100 being underneath here, I'm still inclined to take my shorts. It does not work every time, but it works a lot, right? Stop here. Stop here, paid here. That was right at 10:50 heading into New York lunch. That's not a shock that we would get stopped there, but it was 3 stops. If it actually wasn't 3 stops, it was stop, and then this one survived the 24 points. Or if you have a smaller stop, it was 3 stops and you took the next trade. However you look at it, trade here at the end of New York lunch, paid you. And the whole point of going back on this, right? If you go through your series, your trades went, sorry, I missed this one. 1, and I missed this one. Sorry about that. And I missed this one. Was this underneath? Yeah, sorry, I missed a few. That was coming out of a tweezer's top, excuse me. So let me correct. It was this. It wasn't this, but it was the one right next to it. This, 1, 2, make sure I didn't miss it. 3, 4. There's your first 4 trades of the day. Okay? You can stop right there. As a matter of fact, if you haven't made your money, why are you continuing to pound it would be a good question, right? Why? And certainly once we've gotten to 10:30, London, that half hour in front of London has gotten kind of hard, right? And then if you look in the afternoon, we finally lift. This is exactly what I'm talking about. See how these are over the 100? So the 100, 200, this is the most important thing I have to communicate. Do not let the 100, 200 take longs when the VWAP is sitting over those 2, and that will be changed by this weekend, but I have not changed it yet, okay? And then you took 1 stop and 1 short right there at 12:56, and that was your day. ES had a much smoother day. Also, if you went to, oh, you know what? This is wrong. I apologize. I meant to show y'all something here, and I switched unintentionally. Sorry. Let me go back for a second. This is a VWAP I started in Asia. Forgive me, I did the wrong thing, but I'm going to fix it here in a second. I think it's the same result, but we're going to fix it. This is 132 tick. I apologize. So see over here in Asia overnight, I start, apologies, I know it's frustrating. Let me get through this. If I'm trading overnight, I will start my VWAP right here at Asia Open, right? And if you did that, right, start at Asia Open, here's your trades off a 32 tick. 1, That was out of a zipper, so you may have taken it, you may not have taken it. 2, turn bar at 8 o'clock. Turn bar, that's 2100, 10 o'clock my time. Turn bar again, right? Because I'm underneath that VWAP all the way through here. This would be a stop for me, okay? Entry at 3 a.m. Why? The 100 is under the 200, okay? Now, VWAP has crossed through. If you can't see that there's a space there, it's there. I promise you. It's crossed through, okay? Now the flip side at 5:38 in the morning. Blue bar turn. And then we would start over again at 7 o'clock, right? Because there's your econ and you start the whole thing all over again, okay? And this is what it, and you can see we came right off that VWAP. We came right back down to the VWAP for the European session right at 8 o'clock, okay? That's on the 32 tick. This is what the 24 tick looked like. And it's important that you understand the concept, right? Once we are underneath that, so we open up in Asia, underneath the VWAP, the 100 has to get underneath. So see how the 100 opened above? So it's a different perspective here. See how it opened above in this case? And if I was using the 24 tick, these are my entries long. 1, we're underneath, right? 2, 3, I'm still above. And that's it. Now I've crossed over right over here, right? It's a different bar time, so it sets differently. This would be my first trade if I'm willing to take it in the hole. I wouldn't be, right? This is a stop. This is a short. This is a short. It's Asia, right? So keep that in mind. That's technically a short. It's 2 bars up. You should be in from the orange bar. Short. 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 Okay, here's where it's going to get difficult. Stop. Stop. Okay. Short, all you're gonna do there is cover off those 2 stops on that, right? We flip now, long. And the question is, does it give you your entry? And I don't think it did. And it doesn't give you an entry, but you stopped taking your shorts, which is fine. And you had a clear idea that it was gonna lift. You needed an up bar and it just didn't give it to you. Okay, it did on the 32. Now, when we flip back to the US session over here, yes, from yesterday, the reason why that's important is see, even now, we were way, way away from where the 24-hour VWAP is. You want to reset that concurrent to your session. And if I look this morning, right, so my plan for this morning will be very clear. If the 100, the blue line, is underneath the yellow line, I will look for shorts until it crosses over, and then I will flip around and look for longs. And I want to show you going back, if you're uncertain of this, right, please go back and do your homework. I'm going to show you how this works. I'm going to show you on NQ first because most of us are trading NQ. So I'm going to go back a bit. Not enough days. F5, data limiting, 60 days. It'll take a second to load. And I want to, so I'm not certain to make the rule prior to 9 o'clock still, but the trades are showing, if you'll do your back testing, the trades are showing that it's working prior to 9 o'clock. So here's the problem with 9 o'clock. If you get a stop right out of the gate, it can really take your breath away. Okay, so you have to ask, is it right for you, right? Because it's not only the trade, but it's your ability to execute on process that really, really matters, right? Second, it's in the house. Never mind. So, as you go back, I'm going to zip back here. This is 10:15, totally different space and time. Okay, just roll up to where the next day starts. Okay, here's 8:46 in the morning. Okay, let's make this wider. Here's 8:30 open. Okay, the 100 is clearly underneath, right? Clearly underneath the VWAP, right? So the way it works is if you're fast like I am, okay, 1, 2, 24-point stop survives, 15-point stop does not survive. 3, okay, notice all the way up here I'm not looking long because I have not crossed up through. Now I've crossed up through approximately right here, 9:10 a.m. Long 1 right there. Long 2 right there. I'm only focused on the turn bar here, nothing more complicated. 3 stop, 4 stop, 5 scaled off, but you're probably still down from this 2 series, although you did well back to the left. Notice we're still up here. I'm going to take the hit right there. So that series sucked. It went stop, stop, took off some of the P&L, right? And then this trade right here. So this is what, this sequence right here is what everyone's going to point to, and they're going to go, well, wait a minute, you know, I just got killed, and now you're looking short right here. So that ends up being your first short, okay? So the other thing we'll be doing when we look at this, like when we look at this day, right, is you'll also be going, where's my support resistance, and does it make sense to keep taking my longs, right? So what happened here when you break down this day is we went impulse move higher, right? We consolidated sideways for almost an hour, right? We broke the swing to the downside. They came up and they failed to the downside. So this would probably stop me from taking this trade and this trade too. I would simply go caution, impulse move after we broke the swing, right? The other thing that we would do here, to make it clear, that is your swing low. This is your first hour high. That looks like a delayed open drive higher, right? Once I get over here, I'm going to say, like I always do, getting behind on a trend day up, 2 things happen. You don't get behind your 32 retrace on most true trend days up. And the second thing that happens is you do not get behind your 62 retrace. So once that happened, you would be looking short through this area for the rolls to the downside. And then you would put, and then the last piece is plug in your 1 minute chart and see where the exhaustions are, right? So in this case, right, so let me step back. If you look at this, there's multiple ways to trade this, right? I think the easiest way to trade for me is when I'm getting in alignment with the VWAP, okay? But this creates a contradiction because if I go, hey, we took out first hour low and we're trapped, right? So what this would mean for me is I'm not going to short down here, right? Because I think we could come back up to VWAP, right? VWAP is where I think we could roll out, right? If you look at these trades, like if you look at that picture, right? It's not an automatic, oh, the 100 is over, therefore I only go long, right? The whole idea, that's why the sequence traders are all going to be sequenced to 4 trades. Like if you go back through that series, right? The first series would have gone this series here. And why is it that we're limited to 4 or 3? If you're really conservative, it's 3. Because when this crosses over, right? This series goes trade 1, and I'm going to explain exactly why. Trade 1, trade 2, trade 3. And if you're aggressive, trade 4. Okay? Why? Because if you look at this series and you're trading 2 contracts, right? You're down, I'm going to guess about, you took 2 stops here, each stop $600, $1,200. Okay, roughly here, if you're trading 2 contracts. I'm going to guess you're down $1,200. You made money here, you lost here and here, and you stopped. Now stop, wait for the next sequence, right? Then over here, you're looking for your next sequence. In this sequence, it starts right here. So the algo will go, the trader assist will go trade 1, right? If you want it to, it's going to end up taking trade 2, right? We'll call that a stop. Trade 3 didn't roll down, and then you needed trade 4 and 5. Now, if I was manually turning this on, right? If I was manually turning this on, first of all, this trade I'm fine with, but shorting back into a trap, back onto the first hour low, I'm not all right with. You have to think it through, right? What I'm going to do is this. I'm going to go, hey, I understand how the market moves in a general way, right? I'm going to do that and go somewhere between my 382 and my 50 retrace. Because remember, almost no one has our algos. Everyone has that 50-60 retrace, right? So what you're looking for is when it rolls down, right? Sure, turn it on, right? But your prime locations are going to be, for me, right? This just crossed. I generally want my first algos down, right? And then after it comes back up to the 3A2, do I want my algos? Yes. 1, 2, 3, right? It has to be 2 bars up to count. Even the trader assist won't take it on 1 bar up. Okay, it has to be 2 bars up. And then that sequence right there, you should stop, because what you're trying to achieve with that sequence, actually all 3 of these, 1, 2, 3, 4, is this. What you were trying to get it to do is go 100 or 200 points in your favor, right? Now that it's broken underneath, what I would say here is I'd like it to come back up either into the 100, the 200, right? Or give me some area down below where I can get a trade out of this location, right? And when I do that, I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to do like this, and I'm going to go, if we're going to continue trending, right, we won't get back above the 382. I know that's a crude drawing there, but you wanted the algo to pop in approximately right here. What this was is it fired, apex trapped, went lower. Once you get to the 50 retrace, you want rejection out of there. You didn't get it, and it's probably reversed at that point. Where does it come all the way up to? The VWAP, where you're looking again to get it exhausted. There's no easy answer, right? There's no easy answer for all ways. Like no one way is going to work every time, right? No one way is going to work every time. Like if you look at this, right, whatever day this was a Globex low, right? So what did this market do? If you look, we sunk, we took out Globex low, okay, and then we went supernova right there. Now you have to just make a trading decision as to where we are and how far we're going to stretch. If you remember, we were in an up market back in November, right? And the scenario was different. We were looking for the traps for the push back to the upside is what we were looking for. And so what you want to do early in this scenario, right, when this crosses, is you're looking for your trade, right? So this came down to the first hour low, right? Trapped. Now you're looking for your retrace. This is where you want to trap your buyers. And what will help you do that? Find the 1 minute chart and go, there's my exhaustion, and below there I should fall away. There's a lot of ways to do the trade now, right? There's a lot of ways to do the trade, right? And the other thing that you can do, for example, okay, you can say, so if you look through our knowledge, I know I only have 5 minutes left, so I'll have to do this later in detail. If you look through our knowledge base, right, what are our strongest algos on the turn? The strongest algo on the turn is the bar with a double square and a double circle, right? What that leaves you with is this, right? I'm talking about when we're underneath this, this, and this, and this, right? You can limit your decision-making process to which bars you want. You don't have to take all of them. This is particularly important for people who don't have a feel for which way the market's going to roll, right? In their favor or out of their favor. The easiest trades to make are when you get the double circle, double square on the turn. This, 2 bars up. Those are the easiest trades. So if you're having difficulty figuring all that out, right? Are we long? Are we short? Make it easy on yourself. Just like yesterday. Here, I'll go to yesterday. We're early in the game. So here the 100 is over the 200. Which bars do I want? Double circle, double square on the turn. Excuse me, I inverted. I apologize. Back. 100 is underneath. So what do I want? The double circles on the turn. If I want my highest odds trade, right? Double circle on the turn. That, and that didn't have 2 bars up, right? So I can wait patiently, right? Now, what happens when you say that, right, is people then go look and go, but what about this and this, where it's only single circle, double square, right? What do I do on that situation, Simon? That's where you have to go through and do your back testing and go, So for me, I obviously pull the trigger on a lot of that stuff, right? I just go, oh, it's not producing double circle, double square. But if you rated for your double circle, double square, that was your short right there. I think that's your first short of the day, right? Let's keep watching. Let's see where your next one comes in. That's number 2. That's number 3 right there if you're not still in this trade. Those 2 trades are very profitable trades, right? There's absolutely nothing wrong with waiting for those setups and going, I want double circle, double square. That survives a 24-point stop and gets you to profitability, right? Let's see how we do over here. So this would be a place to pick up a stop, right? Double circle, double square, that's where you pick up your first stop. The trap back in there, by the way, worked very nicely, but whatever. Double circle, double square did not pay you out on that one. Double circle, double square paid you. And that's the end of the day. You got through that day pretty profitable. But what you have to be willing to give up to get that is to give up all the single dots, blue dots, single squares, all that. And where those come in handy is if you can read the market, you can take those trades. If you can't read the market, double circle, double square. Okay? If someone wants that specific trade, I'll hand it to them. Right? It has to be double circle, double square on the turn. That to me is the best trade. And when you go back over here, by the way, I'm going to run just past the open, okay, to where it is inverse, right? So here's 8 a.m. We're clearly going to open up, I think, underneath. So here's 8:30. It is crossed underneath. I am looking for double circle, double square. I only get the double square. I don't get the double circle, okay? That becomes my first trade of the day. I'll widen it out so y'all can see it. You're still looking short. The 100's underneath. That becomes your next trade right here. Let's make sure it stopped the maximum stop. Stayed in, right? That was 67 to 86. 24-point stop keeps you in that trade. 100 is still underneath. Double circle, double square. I know the diamond's over it, but it's a double square. Short. You're at 844, right? No trade. Double circle, double square. Except you're not going to take that. 100 cross through, you're looking for the longs. And now you go the other way. You're looking for double circle, double square on the turn, at least 2 bars down, right? So just keep digging for it. You got, excuse me, 1 stop right there, 907. Okay. And the trap back into that lifted enough to get you out of there. We've crossed back down, right? Right here. Okay. 1 bar up, no trade. That is a valid entry right there. We're underneath. We are still underneath. That survives the 24-point stop, but now we're crossed up. You want the longs now, right? And you'll be able to put in your context within that, right? So we don't trade in a vacuum, right? So don't leave it, unless you're leaving it to run all day long, right? Don't leave it in a vacuum either, right? And then once you get going, you can see once you have the momentum, double circle, double square will end up paying you very nicely to the downside there, right? So at any rate, that's my 2 cents. I take everything, right? You've got to decide if you take everything. Like I would take this. There's no question I would take this. And I also know to push those double circle, double squares. I know to push those because when you get momentum and you get those, it's hard to build that much volume when it's moving fast, right? They are very, very valuable, okay? So anyways, that's my 2 cents. Does anyone have any questions? Trade according to the process today, please. follow the setup that works best for you. The 100, right, is underneath VWAP. Okay, so as far as I'm concerned, I am looking for shorts. And if you want the best shorts, you want double circle, double square. Trade your plan, but please, the people who are suffering are not leaving any trailers on their trade. They just aren't leaving any trailers on their trade. It sucks for them, right? It just does. Okay, it just sucks for them. Figure out where the prior day's high is, the prior day's low, Globex mid, Globex high, and let the trade play out, right? Take a look at the big picture. Where are we? Here's where we opened up. This is the 40 tick. Okay, there's the big picture. Okay, we've been higher, we've been lower overnight, right? We've broken the swing. There's Globex high, there's Globex low, and there's our initial balance. So far, we're not even 5 minutes in, but that's our initial balance. That'll keep expanding as we're pushing out, right? And you look a little bit bigger, right? We're still pushing down, right? What I would say is in order to go higher, right? This was the last attempt to break that reversal. 1, 2, 3. That's a ghost pattern. See how the hands are woo, head, shoulder, shoulder, right? I'd say you have to break 25, 659 to go up, right? So, hold on. And top step is down, just FYI. Lovely, right? But top step is down. So that's hilarious. Those guys cannot keep their network up. So I don't know what to say. So that's my 2 cents. And we will go from there. Yeah, I'd go, well, if I can get those strong bars on the turn, I'd go 15, 25, 50 or 15, 25, 40, right? Just after 25, move your stop to break even. That's what I would do. And if my system was up, I would have taken this short, for better or for worse. I would have taken a shot at that. And yeah, I would have done that on top step. And I'm pulling up my own domes right now because I was talking too much. And there we go. And up we go. But you still got, off of that bar, 1, 2, 3 to the downside, right? It's not exactly like it was horrible. 100's now over VWAP, and I'm looking for longs, right? My assumption is we're going to test this Globex high. VWAP on ES is below, NQ is above. That's a switch. ES has been the one that's been stronger. Fall away. ES is weak this morning. That's interesting. Weak, weak, weak. Wow, I didn't expect that. News? Impulse move higher. I don't know. Interesting. Is that 45? Oh, yeah. S&P manufacturing. Well, that got the blood flowing for people, didn't it? Into the London. Try that marked off right. Where's the Asia point of control? 2 a.m. 7 p.m. Yep, right in there. And that was yesterday's first hour point of control. What we're pushing into right over there. We're right at that 64. 87, sorry. Wow, my math is not good this morning. 100 over, VWAP over 100. Into yesterday's first hour. That was the scene of the crime from yesterday, by the way. And econ in 8 minutes. You have to get under 25,322 to go lower. And then the bigger one's 25,253. $25,324, excuse me. Very slowly creeping. People are kind of unsure what they want to do, aren't they? Sitting right at Globex high. New high of the day. Well, that was an interesting start to the day. Now clearly above VWAP. Impulse move, A, B, C, D. Let's see what she provides us with. I'm watching the 1 minute chart for setups. Now I'm looking for sell pressure down and then a trigger above that. That was kind of sort of not the open I wanted, but the open we got, isn't it? Now everyone has to kind of go, well, what do we do with that? So see how I can't kind of read the market right now? I personally can't. Like I'm not sure what it's doing other than I know I'm above. My lean is to the long side, but we've already pushed all the way up, right? So now I'm just waiting to see how it sets up, right? In essence, what I'm looking for is either I get a on the 1 minute trade, I'm gonna get an algo fire over here, right? Like I did over here for the long, right? Or I'm gonna wait, or I'm just gonna wait it out, one of the two. But that's what I want when I'm over VWAP. So I want that pressure down, then the algo up above it. That's how you prevent all those stops that take place when we chop above VWAP on the long side, right? And we'll have an inverse version of that for the short side. So the easy way to do that is to, even if you're above, right, wait for the sell pressure, then look for the long signal as long as it holds above VWAP. That's the easy way to do it so you're not guessing. Green bar up with nothing on it, I will pass. Whether that works or not, no idea, but I will pass. By the way, that ran right into that 25, 324. That was the biggest volume up. You have to get underneath that in order to go lower. The biggest volume down is right here on this bar. Right, so it's going to be a fight between those 2 points. Why isn't that copying? Chart number 23. Oh, it is. Well, it's not. There we go. Push right up into the biggest buyer left on top. Jam gotten below the seller. Circle up, lifts. Pushing right up into resistance. Still haven't gotten a hard push down. Circle down, you'd look for circle up above it. So I'm just showing you the different ways you can seek to find your different trades, right? That's all I'm doing. Right back to yesterday's first hour point of control. Tempting above again. The sellers didn't step in like they did yesterday. And your first hour points of control right now is all the way down here. I would look for that to shift up if we're going to exhaust. Not as clear a morning as the other mornings have been, that's for sure. So see when it's like this and you're unsure, I don't want to touch my keyboard. If I'm unsure, right, I don't want to touch my keyboard at all, right? Like when I look at it, most days I've been able to go, oh, we're going lower, or oh, we're going higher. I can't tell here. I know over that first hour high, we have a lot of room that we can auction to the upside, right? but I can't even tell from the way participants are behaving. And usually I can. Usually I have some sense of, oh, we're doing this or oh, we're doing that, right? If I can't tell, I personally click a lot less than if I can't tell, right? So I know my bias tells me to look long, right? I know because of the juxtaposition of the 100 against VWAP that I want to press down on the 1 minute, and my best odds of getting a trade are getting over that 1 minute and getting the algo up above it to push away from those sellers, right? Or just wait patiently until it sets up, or get a double circle, right? When I pointed out, hey, these are what trade best because I don't want to get annihilated. That's what I'm looking for, right? We tried against that first hour high a couple of times, that 25,391, first hour point of control from yesterday, and they're unable to get above so far. Just keep in mind, if we impulse move above it, there's a ton of unauctioned area above that, okay? And what I am also noticing is that the 6 tick on ES is working pretty nicely, right? Short side, 1, 2, I need to pay attention to it, green bar up, etc., etc. So I will pay attention to it. And I guess I'm going to be on Apex only today because okay, there's my push down, and see right there? So I know if I get under over 25,386, that'll be my algo's above this point. 25,39686 right there. Algo's above it should push away. Okay? Should. But it's really kind of a meandering blah blah blah. Mm-hmm. VWAP dance. Yellow dot up. More long there. Orange dot, excuse me. Single bar after the volume push down. Let's see if I can get any lift out of that. Yes, the 100 is back underneath the VWAP. Oh, is that right? Yeah, that is right. ES is underneath VWAP. It's a weird switch, right? Very oddly quiet. Again, when ES and NQ don't match, that's unusual. What a weird combination of bars, huh? To have ES weak and NQ stronger. That is a flip in PA. There we go, under VWAP. VWAP's over the 100 on ES, you're looking short there. And it's over on NQ, and when they're crossed, it's just odd. Okay. I am moving very slowly here in terms of trades I'm taking or not taking. That is very, very odd to have that flip like that, and I don't know what's driving it, and it doesn't really matter. I'll just wait till it plays itself out. What this means is I'm unclear on what the PA wants to do. If you're clear, then you should trade on that, but I'm unclear, right? So I can just simply go, hey, I'll do less. It's a fair thing to say, right? I think we're back into yesterday's low is what we're trying to trap back above, right? So here's yesterday's low, here's Globex low. We've tried to get above, we've trapped underneath. We need to hold above 25,286 is what they're trying to hold above. One hundred crossing down through the 200, above VWAP, 100 and 200 underneath on ES. I mean, NQ's been the weaker child all along, so yeah. Wow, it's like it's in mud. Well, certainly no one's excited to step in, are they? Wowee. I'm gonna have to get over a seller in order to go long, guys. Just FYI. Or I'll just wait it out. That doesn't look healthy, particularly ES. Looks just kind of like a slow melt. So I don't know what's up with that, but yeah. 100 is about to cross through VWAP. I'll just wait her out. You can pretty much know the first hour point of controls right here. You've got to get over that 25 271 now. See how it's very slow, right? Don't try to counter very slow, guys. Does that make sense? Okay, don't try to, when it's just dribbling like this, just wait. We will get our setup somewhere in the day, but don't burn cash trying to make a trade work. Just don't. It sucks. That's a slow melt. 100 through VWAP. That's generally not a good sign. I'm looking for my algos down. On retraces up, I need at least 2 bars up, preferably more. Coming into first hour low. Telling you, slow melt, guys. Volume bars down. To get a rally up, we now have to get above this guy right here. Easy spaleezy. Notice the break where it came from. See that? Once you got underneath your biggest, that was your biggest buyer right there at 25,253. This became your biggest seller, and they couldn't hold over them, and it cascaded from there. This is your second biggest buyer up here. It's this guy right here. Damn, where'd it go? This guy right up here. This guy. That's your second biggest buyer. You see it came underneath him, backside tested him, fell away. Okay. Wow, what a slow motion melt. Off the first hour low, they're trying to hold it there. That's what they had to get above. Second time they tried to hold that first hour low. Interesting. Back to yesterday's low. That was very interesting. Man, the market's moving just kind of on wisps, huh? That's your short signal right there. That white bar down, double circle. That's short against 91 at worst, I would say. There you go. Someone may be speaking. May. I don't know that for a fact. Doesn't really matter. You should have gotten at least one scale off on this. If you took this, you got stopped. One scale off on this, and I don't know if somebody's speaking or not. If you took this bar, the way the sequence went was stop, double circle, paid. You got to know which one you want to choose in terms of the trading, right? I'll be right back, guys. Again with a zigzag. What an odd morning, huh? Just the whole way the whole thing's running, right? Back to the first hour point of control. Just the whole thing's kind of odd. Look at that. Just so weird. Just start marching straight up out of the blue. Like we didn't hit anything. There's no heavy seller. Just we'll stop and turn. Isn't that weird? Interesting. Makes sense. Still, just the speed is just, to me, totally odd. Nice, Brian. I just don't understand it, Ed, and I got to look at it and go, hey, I get what this market's trying to do, or I don't get what this market's trying to do, and then trade based on that, right? So, I generally have a decent read on where I think the market's going, but this is just wide ranging balance. Which I'm all right with. Dude, you got me. I have no idea what's going on with the market, but that is just some weird, let's stop and go kind of price action. Bizarro world. All I have to say. Bizarro world. Guys, someone's speaking or someone's saying something. I don't know why, but that's why the market's moving the way it is, and there's not a darn thing you can do about it. Okay? It's just moving on thin wisps. There's no significant volume. It's just whoever's pushing it around or however it's trading is not how I like to trade it. So I don't want to participate, right? That's just how I feel about it. I just don't like it when we go stop, drop, think, drop straight down, stop, think. Well, we'll just run it straight up now. We're just balancing out, and that's all right. It just doesn't make sense to me, so I'll just wait till it does make sense to me. Like that move right there made absolutely zero sense to me how we're trading. Meaning, what I'm trying to explain is that no one has a position behind that position, right? They're just moving it around as they feel like it, right? And that's all right. They got a double circle, double square up, right, off that volume bar, off that volume area. I just don't understand what the market's trying to accomplish, and I can't see it. So I don't want to participate because I can't call it, right? If I sit patiently, it's whipping back on me 30, 40, 50 points, right? If I don't wait patiently, it's running against me way further than I would anticipate something running against me. And so I just don't want to play. And you everyone has the very right to do that. I'd agree with that, Ed. So I just don't want to play with that because I don't understand it, right? I don't understand the run up into 10 minutes in, we're going to run it up into London. We've been trading pretty structured the last couple of days, right? To get sell pressure, continuous sell pressure. This is sell pressure, then complete buy pressure over and over. I don't get that. That's all right. We went down, we V shaped up, we came back 50, 60, we went up. I get it. That's not the problem here. Okay, I'm the problem. I don't know what the market wants to accomplish here. And I do not feel like using myself as the sacrificial lamb to make the trade, right? Usually that first hour point of control gets respected. Nothing, trading straight through it. So whatever the deal is, I just go, okay, I'll play. It's all right that the market's going back up. I don't care about that. I don't like the inconsistency of not being able to break the range. We're just trading inside here. We're trading inside the first hour range. That's all we're doing. We haven't broken up. We haven't broken down. So I guess I'll just wait to get out of that. But that makes no sense to me at all, and I'm all right with that. To me, that's hard trading when we're just stuck inside because I can't commit to anything, right? I can't commit to anything. We didn't take out IB low. We haven't taken out IB high, right? And to me, that's a good way to get very frustrated trading is when we're just whipping this whole range because I don't even know what it means, right? Like I have no interpretation of what's going on. To me, that's hard trading. Right or wrong, that's hard trading. So it's balance. You got to trade the edges until we get above or below the first hour high or low. I would not have expected that today with the employment number, but instead we just got this wishy-washy craporama. 100-point rotations up and down inside the first hour range. So if it suits you, trade it. I have no problem with it. It doesn't suit me. I want to be above or below that first hour now. Or just trade scalp the daylights out of it. Yeah, none of that's the problem. What I want is to make an extension down and trap a major area. I want it to break to the first hour low, right, and take out IB low, or I want it to take out IB high ed. That's what I'm laser focused on, because there's a 90% odd or 80% odds we take out one of those two, and I just didn't figure that we would roll all the way up through that. But other than that, I agree with your analysis. I just don't like being inside the first hour IB and sitting there and ranging it. It makes it really hard for me to go, yeah, I'll put on a bunch of contracts here and write it. But I agree with your analysis about that. It just depends on what you're focused on, I guess, like you said. And usually that first hour point of control gets respected. That I agree with, Dan. Yeah, I agree with that. So I'm sitting green, just not exceptionally green. I am sitting green. And now we're crisscrossing back the other way. So guys, y'all hear me, right? On the algos, do not do well when we get this widespread balance and we keep crisscrossing the same range. The trader assists do not do well in this. They do good when we move one way or the other, or we grind slowly up or we grind slowly down. But when we go over a wide range, and we don't adjust, yeah, no bueno. I'm just telling you, it's not good. I am sitting on my hands, doing about as much of nothing as I can. I have a whopping $500 in profit per account on Apex. Let's see what it's at. 493, and that may be where I walk out if this doesn't improve. Generally, when it's wishy-washy like this, I don't expect people to get more commitment. I expect them to get less, because that's what I want to do. Like, I don't want to trade when it's like this. Why would someone else want to trade this, right? When you think about it, like, think about every type of trader there is. Oh, we're breaking out, we're over VWAP. Nope, you got smoked. Oh, we're breaking down, we're under VWAP. Nope, you got smoked, right? So you see all those VWAP traders, right? Watch, if you look on Twitter, all of them will magically come back and say, oh, you should have traded balance, right? Not VWAP. And then on those days where they show, like, look, I made 200 points in the NASDAQ, I shorted against VWAP. Today they'll magically, oh, I knew it was balanced, so I covered, right? none of that helps us very much, right? So that's why if you have a difficult time going, oh, I can switch up and I know how to switch this up, I think that's actually a pretty difficult thing to do. And certainly if you're a scalper, right, meaning you count on price action scalping, this is very difficult. And the reason it's difficult is because it's not trying to get anywhere, right? So, like, for example, let's say we had broken IB, trapped back in. I'd gone, oh, we're going to try to get back over here, but we never get over here, so it doesn't make it, right? If you're over here, we're like, oh, we tested VWAP. We're going to break out of the 1 hour high and test areas higher. Doesn't make it, comes all the way back on you, right? Add, smokes you to the downside, right? Now you can micro scalp through there. Most of those guys on Twitter, like those ICT guys or the guys like Austin Silver, who uses VWAP, I can't wait to see what Austin comes up with, because Austin all the time goes, see, I went long right here and I got 200 points. He does that constantly if you look on his stream, right? Or I waited patiently for the short and got paid the 100 points to the downside, right? He does that constantly, which is all right. He's running a business. I get that. It doesn't bother me. But basically, if you traded VWAP, you ended up trading right in the middle of the 1 hour range. And you got smoked today. All I'm trying to do is avoid getting smoked. And what I rely on to pin on those positions where I have the big days is being able to look at the market and go, we're probably doing this, therefore I can do this, right? So when it does this, right? And I know the feeling because I feel confused inside, right? I have almost a feeling of anxiety. And I go, oh, I have no freaking clue what the market's trying to do here. None, right? I have zero clue what the market's trying to accomplish here. So the best thing for me to do when that happens, right, is to go, well, I can change my process completely, how I personally execute, right? I can go, well, I don't care. Let's just roll the dice and see if it works anyways. Or I can just take my individual algos, as Ed suggested, and scalp out of that, right? But I have no idea when my individual algos are worth a 50-point move, a 10-point move, or a 15-point move in this environment. None. And I can't tell if we're trying to break out or break up. And now VWAP and shortly the 100 and 200 are starting to move sideways. And that is usually a death knell for trying to trade. Yeah, go ahead. I agree. Very. So I'm just leaving it alone because in this case, there's no rule that I could put in it that would cover this, right? And then the other thing that's weird is when you see today's first hour point of control, usually if you go back and look, those get very respected. And we've just zipped through them all day. Even if it pokes its head above, it tends to come back down. And it did, right? So see, it got underneath, rejected, a little bit above, rejected, got a little above, rejected, then impulse move. But usually that rejection leads to a break of the lows of that point, or the inverse, right? We get above, come back and test it, and come out and take the highs. So we're just sitting in the middle. And here's what I try to do. I try harder to produce a trade for the room of some sort, right? And I don't want to let that go. I go, no, 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 no. We can find a way to put up the numbers, right? And what I find is every time I get to that feeling of no, I'll figure this out, that I'm already pretty much sunk once that happens, right? And what I need to do is completely stop, right? I need to completely stop and just let the market reset. And then once the market resets, I'll go, oh, we got momentum to the downside, or oh, we've got momentum to the upside. And I just need to wait for a pullback against that momentum, get my volume bars to trigger and get above them, and then take that momentum and let them pay me. That's what I want to do, right? Why? Because that's when I do that, I can add trade size to my trade. In the meantime, I'll just wait for them to work it out, whatever they want to do. Top Step is completely down. Those guys need to figure out their process, or they're going to lose a lot of people. They've just been constantly, see what I mean? Like, oh, now we're going to go test the high. Nope, we're going to come back to the first hour point of control. We're going to come back to prior day's high. We're going to screw around here and see what they do here. Yeah, no thanks. My observation is the trading has not gotten better between 10 and 12 the last couple of days. It's gotten choppier. Does anyone have a different observation? I'm all right with it. I'm all right with it if you do. I haven't seen the trading get better after 10 o'clock, is what I haven't seen until about 12 o'clock. Does anyone disagree with that or have a different take? Yeah, I don't see a point in wasting your effort trying to do more. I'm not. I'm up, like I said, about $500, and $500 is better than nada. So I'm going to put that in my back pocket and go, okay, because guessing at this, I have no way of telling. Yes, sir, it is. But the more important part is your ability to recognize your market. And that's one thing we haven't talked a lot about in the room, but it's to recognize, hey, this works. I know this works great, right? So what I'd want to do is a quick study. Does anyone mind if I do this real quick? Right? Let's go back. Chart settings. Go back. We're just going to focus on one thing, first hour high and low. My computer's going to hate me. And if you look at a 15-minute bar, we have literally covered all 15 minutes up and down the entire session from ever since econ, we are exactly inside that the 15 minute from 7 a.m. from 7:15 to 7:45. We've been inside that area the whole time. That's what we've been doing. So look, most days, I want to show you here. I'm just going to pick a random day. Stop. Okay, here. Why is it not showing the first hour high low? Because it doesn't go back to cover enough days. So I'll go chart settings, wait, analysis, studies. Let's see if it pops on there. There we go. Okay. See, some days we come in and this is the first 30 minutes. We open up, we're underneath VWAP, right? We're looking for shorts, right? We come up, there's your short entry. Doesn't get VWAP, misses, right? But you get a big fat extension off of both those bars. Here, I'll make it. There's the context. Okay, come down, right? Impulse move at 9 o'clock. So I'll grant you, if you kept taking the shorts in this condition, you got stopped out, right? 1, 2, 3 it was an open drive higher, right? But now look at it the other way. The 100's over, right? Now go look at all your trades. This is how it usually works, right? White bar up, blue square up, you get stopped and chopped here at 11 o'clock, right? Go to 12 o'clock or close to 12 o'clock. Orange bar up, you're able to scale out of it. Underneath, orange bar up. falling, falling, falling. Oh, 100 crossed. Okay, so here's where you get in trouble. 100 crossed underneath. Stop, stop. So I don't know how to fix that part of the deal. The only way I would know how to fix that is if we reset, right? If we reset, but then once it reclaims it back in the afternoon. So I don't know what happened here that we got this giant rollover and everything was weird, right? But after 1 o'clock, it cleaned up again, came back over, VWAP, white bar, green bar, orange bar. These didn't really extend off the turn, but that was into the close. Anyways, I guess the second one did enough, right? So the whole point of that is the trader assist, right? You could have worked this the same way to the short side. Let me show you. Okay, see how we went all the way up to, see how we came all the way, we came down, right? There's IB high, gets established at 9:30, right? See that? Here's IB high at 9:30. Okay, now you can trade the other way. I want to take out IB high. Here's your options. I have no idea what was going on this day. This is back in September, right? Here's your options. Off IB high. Breaks IB high, no algo down. Breaks IB high again, algo down, no algo down over here. We get above, algo down stops you, right? That was the third attempt, right? Gets above, right? We come back up, that sets the high of the day. We impulse move, we break the swing, come back up. Now we're back to the IB high thing. It has to hold, right? So you're going to have to decide which way you want to trade that at that point. We have conflicting information, right? See how we've gotten into the cradle there and it started to hold the cradle? You're going to have to decide which way you're going to take that, right? And then this is the other point. I'm going to go back to the left in a second, right? The trades you take, right? If you take the double squares, let's go back through here, right? On this move down, right? If you take the double squares, even though it's slow sometime, right? I'm going to show you both sides of this so that you make it easier for y'all to make. What I'm trying to say is the double squares, double circles are very, very good. Double square, double circle, right? Comes back up in the cradle. If you want to try to catch that cradle for the break, over your circle down, double square, double circle. They don't work all the time. You're still going to pick up a stop here and pick up a stop here. I can only assume that there was some kind of news to drive it. You would have been 1, 2, your third one finally paid you. Now you're going to sit and wait. There's your next double square, double circle. You can survive this in two areas. First of all, if you recognize, hey, this is pretty fast and furious, right? You can survive it. Or you go, the 100s come up through VWAP, coming up through there, and that's the double circle I want, right? I don't think it's a realistic goal to go, I'm going to eliminate every time we get, we get news and we get no rotation. That's not going to be a realistic target. But what does make sense to me here, right? What does make sense to me is when I come through here and go, oh, we're rejecting off of here, right? I can look for a double circle, double square. That's a good trade for me, right? Right back into the 100 and 200. When I get over here, I'm probably going to get stopped on this. Well, maybe the 24-point stops holds, but I'm going to go backside test the first hour low. I'm looking for a reason to break out. Didn't happen, right? Comes in over here. Now I'm looking for double circle, double square. What's the rule? I want at least 2 bars up so I don't catch this stop, okay? And I don't get this because it doesn't go double circle, double square. No problem. Coming down, right? I am going to get caught out here. And I'm going to end up catching this because we're still underneath, right? And then I can start looking for my double circle, double square on the turn. And most of the time that bar is going to save you. Most of the time that bar is going to save you, right? If you go to today, okay, before I totally dismiss the whole day, let's go to the double circle, double square and see how you did. We came to 8:30, right? I said 100's over VWAP. I'm predominantly looking for longs, right? I got no, starting here, I get no double circles, double squares in there to take, right? We are now underneath. Okay, so there's 2 ways you can do it. You can do it 100 is in the cradle, we're underneath the 100 and 200, and I think VWAP's going to break. You'll notice if you're trading this, there's a bunch of traders trading VWAP. You're going to have to expect that you're going to have to fight through that. Ed mentioned that to me the other day, right? As we're coming down, right? Double circle, double square, stopped, double circle, double square, paid you, right? If you were looking for the higher low, right, you can do it the other way, 50, 60 back, double circle, double square. I wasn't, right? And then the 100 over here is still underneath VWAP, but you were over the 100 and 200. You're going to have to make a game time decision on that. I don't have an easier way to clear it up because I'm not going to be able to come with one rule that covers all those pieces. What I am going to be able to do is go in general, right? I am going to be able to do is go in general, this is what I'm looking for. But I have a very hard time when the market does this in general, okay? And I have a pretty easy time when the market looks like this. When the market looks like this, I have a pretty easy time in general. I'm going to make money, right? When the market looks like this, even this, right? Where we impulse move, right? When we impulse move, I'm going to have a pretty easy time when I come back here and look at the 50-60 retrace off of this, right? And I'm going to go, we set the IB high, 930 is coming up, and I'm looking for my entry to come out and take out that IB high. Now over here, right, I'm going to go, unless we trap back into IB high, right, I'm not looking short. I'm above the VWAP, I'm above the 100, I'm above the 200, and all three of them are above VWAP, right? This is perfect for me. This is the 50-60 back, right? And on each of those drawbacks, right, I'm just going to go, I want the long, right? And then if I want my best longs, I'm going to do this. Here, not here because it's only one bar back. Here, and here. Let's see what we got in the afternoon, if anything. Well, maybe we just didn't get anything. It took off. And if I'm going to do Ed's way, which by the way I like, right? When I'm in this condition, right? Because I'm going to go, oh, I'm looking for my seller down, right? And I want my algos up above. Now it's just a question of which algos I want above, right? So when I come down, I'm going to look for the seller down. Not much success on the orange bar, but the double circle, I'm going to get paid. And I'm going to avoid the shorts in that condition, right? So as you go back and look through them, right? As you go back and look through that, right? What you have to decide is what do you want? And I'm going to pick on one person in this room in particular, Dan, Canadian Dan, right? So Dan is really specific with what he looks for. He knows what he's looking for. He wants a break of the swing, 3 bars back, like this, I think, right? Dan can correct me if I'm wrong, right? 3 bars back and this. I think it's 3 bars back and then algo, but it really doesn't matter which one you do. These all tell you they're going to pull back, right? So when you go through and look, right? When you go through and look as to which trade you are going to take, you have to have a methodology for determining whether the price action is good, bad, or horrible for you, right? This right here is just a nightmare for me because I can't fix my sights on anything and rely on it. So I just get in trouble with it. I overtrade it, and then I don't know what I can possibly do. Right, I agree with that too, Dan. Dan, can you post a picture of what that looks like for you, please? Yeah, sure. I mean, for me, it comes down to easy. I have my best shot on the double circle, double square. I know I did, right? And maybe I should have traded that today, but I know most days I'm going to look, just pick any day randomly. The way you figure this out, here, just this is 120 days ago, right? Here, we'll do it here, right? So this is clearly, right? This is clearly the 100s underneath, right? So go look if you took, now go look and just go, hey, I'm going to call these trades out to somebody. What am I going to do, right? If I called this trade out to someone, did they get to profitability? They did, right? If I called this trade out to somebody, did they get to profitability? They did. If I call, that's on the turn bar, this one. If I call that out to somebody, did they make money? They did. Now, to me, that's a really important concept, right? That idea, I can go, hey, double circle, double square, take it, right? 2 bars down, 2 bars up on the turn, take it. That concept's really, really important to me. Let me explain why. Okay. I don't want people coming in the room and leaving without making money. I don't care if you leave. I don't want you to leave without making money, right? And then when I know that you have the direction of the market and you get that double circle and double square and you know which way it's leaning towards, now when you're asking, hey, how can I push it, right? So if I go through the day, I call this, okay, we get stopped out. No problem, right? Okay, I call this. Maybe you get a profit, maybe you don't, right? It went a little bit, it went enough to scalp something out, right? I call this out, it's enough for you to make a profit, right? I can go through the day, most days, and get you in and out of that trade going double circle, double square, most days, right? So I went back, that was on August 5th. And then if I can read the tea leaves, right, even better, right? If I can read the tea leaves, even better. So here I'd be like, we're underneath VWAP, right? So I can go over here and go double circle, double square, short. I get you paid, right? Let's see if I get stopped anywhere. Double circle, double square. I agree with that 100%. I agree with that picture 100%, right? But this is the other way I can do it, right? I get you stopped. Well, that was in a zipper, so maybe not, right? 2 bars down, that'd be aggressive, but that's long, right? And that's the end of the day. I can jump to another point. So what I'm trying to say is, right, if I line you up with double circle, double square on the turn, odds are you have a very good chance after 30 days, right? If I keep telling you to take that trade, I know it's pre-market. If I keep telling you to take that trade, and also I would say the traps back into them if they trap, you have a pretty damn good chance of getting paid on that bar. That was out of a zipper. Stop. Stop. Okay, so both these stops came where? This one came at 12:23, and this one came at 4 minutes to the close. I agree. I'm trying not to complicate it, Dan, but anyone can do that. The way you do that is go. The way if you're using VWAP is you come in here, you go analysis, studies. What Dan's talking about is you just come into the VWAP, go settings, and it's already in there. So if you go to subgraph, it'll say top band 1 and top band 2, and then top band 3 will give you 3 standard deviations. So first, I'd say second deviation is what you want to go for, but it can get you in trouble. And what Dan, I'm pretty sure Dan would say, wait for the break of the swing and then the pullback before you do that. Dan, you can correct me again if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you would say that. And congratulations, Dan, on a very, very good year. Great work on your part. You turned your year, dude, from last year to this year, amazing improvement, dude. Like just freaking crazy. Here, I'll make them purple. You bet. You did all the work yourself. I got no credit on that. Top band, bottom band too. That is 2 standard deviations away. If you want it on your chart, come over here, color it purple. Put the line. Okay. Okay. And now it's going to think about it for a minute and calculate all that. And there's your standard deviations outside. I'm pretty sure Dan would say, wait for this. Then you come down, break the swing, and now you're looking for the pullback and the push up. Dan, am I wrong on that? That's what it would look like today. And there is a way to trade off of that. I just don't. I mean, now we have 50 million billion lines on there, you know. And we're just diddling in the middle now, right? So I would suggest you just take it as easy as possible so you don't get chopped. I know I will not get chopped. I know that for a fact. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go and run an errand or two. Dan, it's good to have you in the room, man. Merry Christmas. I'm glad you had a great year, dude. Yeah. And I want to make sure, just repeat, you wait till it gets out there, break the swing, pull back, engulfing bar or algo, correct? Am I incorrect on that? And then the subsequent, I think you take the next three, right? Okay, agreed 100%. Does anyone else have any other questions? Now's the time because I'm pretty relaxed. I'm really glad I stopped pressing my edge to direction. I flipped this whole thing to accommodate the straight up that we had, right? So this is balance. So let me tell you, for those of you who are new, okay, the market used to do this. Ed I'm pretty sure will back me up, and Bill will too, okay? When I came up, okay, particularly after 2001, okay, the market spent the gross majority of the day in balance days and the very few days on trend days. Okay. And I would say that was through 2001 all the way up to, well, first 2007 and then up till 2012. Okay. And then it changed character and the balance days got fewer and the trend days got more. Okay. So my trade plan on that would have been this: wait till you get to the edge, right? On balance, I'm going to tell you the formula for balance. Okay. Wait till you get to the edge, get a trap on the edge of trading. They look like this and this and this and this. And you trade your apex traps. Ed or Dan or any of y'all, actually, I've been trading for a while. Does anyone disagree with that? And that's what our algo would do if we spent the gross majority of our time in balance like this. That's what our algo would do. It's exactly how I'd run the algo. Zero questions in my mind. I guess everyone left. Anyways, that's my 2 cents about that. I'm going to lunch. I'll see if there's anything to do this afternoon, but it doesn't look. Oh, yeah, Brian. So actually, Jason and his brother are working on writing us a custom copy trader that will copy trade to Top Step. I need to test the one you're using. So the trade copier turbo did not work very well. It just it just did not work very well. Period. End of sentence. I don't have I don't have anything else to say about that. It just didn't work very well. And so yeah, I am working on fixing it. I have not tried the one you've traded. Does it have a trial where I can try it out to see if it'll copy over? For Top Step though, where do you remind me where you want to copy to, please? Back to Edge Clear, personal account, Edge Clear accounts, profit trade. Correct, you're right on that. I manually trade my cash account. I don't copy trade to it. And then I copy trade on Apex within Apex, and I want to copy trade over to Top Step. So the answer is I need to come up with an answer. That's the answer. And I haven't done that yet. So I will work on it. But I will go try this out. Does it say that it copies to Top Step by chance? Or does it have to copy like a rhythmic to rhythmic? Do you know? I know that's not a very satisfying answer, but it's the truth. I got to go play with it. What's it called? third-party developer, simple system trading. I'm looking. Trading, trade. Yeah. I will ask for a demo of it. I'll try it out. Yeah, I'll ask for a demo of it. So this is our latest. Hold on a second. Let me see if I have it. This is what we're working on right now. Okay, so this only takes trades in accordance with, where's my long entries? This is my short. Oh, there's my longs. Okay, so this is the shorts this would have taken today. Okay. So this turns on at 8:35. Okay, so this is working a little bit differently and I can't explain it, but I'll show you how it's functioning and you can see, yes, I like it or no, I hate it, right? So it is firing, if we go from 8:30, which we have it set to run at 8:35, which is right here. Again, this is still, we have to iron out the rough edges. 8:35. Okay, so it might have taken this trade, short. This is the short side, then I'll do the long side. Okay. Short. So right now it's just highlighting, it's not on the turn just, right? Short, short. So this is tying in VWAP, so it's not going to take any shorts up here, right? We'll go see how the longs did. Short, short, right? So see, I haven't tied it off to double circles or anything else, just fire on my signal, right? Short, short. Short. Why is it shorting? 100's underneath VWAP. Short. Oh, and it requires slope as well. There's two characteristics on this. It needs to slope up to take the short, okay, or it won't fire. And then it just took this short right here, okay? So this is where Bill and I think we need to go with it, okay? So that was okay on the short side for today. That's probably profitable. I'll run through the numbers later, but it's probably profitable just eyeballing it. Here's the longs. Go back to 8:30. Okay, so remember, 8:35, the longs will fire because the 100 is above VWAP. So trade one, half a scale, trade 2. Again, that's just a green bar. I'm probably moving it to dot minimum requirement, right? But let's just say it's stop, stop for easy conversation. It's taking it anywhere. Green bar up, paid, green bar up, stop. So I can go back there and go, well, what would I want to change it to if I was going to change that, right? And I'd probably say I want the circle on it, but then I take away the winning trade and I leave the losing trade, right? So I've got to still vet it, stop, right? Versus I say I want my long. So this is how, let me explain how I would redo this. What I would have done instead, right, is I would have said, see how I got my diamonds down? Where do we get our diamonds down here? Well, I don't see the diamonds down. I'll have to go through, but if we got our diamonds down in this condition, it would have been, this would have been our first trade. So I may need to work on it. This is how we're designing it. Okay. So you see the diamonds down, right? Now I want my dot up. Diamonds down, above VWAP, right? Dot up, right? 100 above, diamonds down. I want my dot up. That's this bar right here versus taking just this green bar with no dot, right? So that'll get changed. 100, this is the last one where the 100's above VWAP. It's going to take that dot up. It's got the diamonds down, and it's going to get stopped, right? Now we flip it the other way. The 100's underneath, right? So now it's diamonds up, dot down, right? So that one's close and it operates closer to what we want. And if you look when we go long in general, so let me find a trend day up. 100 is going to fire. Oh, there's VWAP right there. There's VWAP right here. So see how we cross through? Now it's going to fire here, here, and up here. But what I'm probably going to change this to is over 100 VWAP, diamonds down, dot up. So it takes the long there. So it would go diamonds down, dot up, and then we'd have to decide how many of those dots after the diamonds down that we would end up taking. And if you look over here to the right, see the diamonds down over here? This would end up being the first long. This would end up being long 2. This would end up being long 3. So we'll just have to go through a bunch of days and sort through that and get it straight. So we'll get it worked out. It should be very good, right? So, okay, well, that's great, Brian. Yeah, I wish it worked well with Top Step, but it doesn't seem to matter because Top Steps doesn't seem to work well under any condition here lately. They really have screwed the pooch on that in a big way. It's just not working. That's all there is to it. So, anyways, that's my 2 cents. Like I said, I think it's just going to get choppier and choppier as we go. We'll see if they decide to move the market one way or another later this afternoon. But I can wait very, very patiently. And here you can see this afternoon, right? In this condition, here's the trades it would take. So 100's underneath. This is for shorts. It's going to go 1, stop, 2, paid. It would already be in, so it wouldn't take that 3, and then that's 4, it wouldn't take that. Then over here, it's going to take this short and that white bar down, right? And I'm probably going to change it just to the first dots, which is fine. It would still end up taking those trades and working. And then here's the next trade, but I probably would have said diamonds up, dot down as the next trade versus just a singular bar. So, but I am excited about it. I think it'll be cool once we get it all said and done. Any questions? That's great, Ed. Thanks. That's good to know. But Ed, it doesn't copy over to Trader X, but it does copy over to like if I had a Tasty Trade account or anything that plugs into my or Edge Clear or AMP or any of those, right? Okay, fair enough. No, that's all good because then that opens up for like Take Profit Trader and Take Profit Trader and Tradeify and all those guys. Okay, thank you guys. I'll be back at 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, more or less. Hey Siri, call Bill Morgan. Yeah, it's fine. It's no horrible deal. It's just that's going to get clocked on days where we're going wide range balance, which is what we're doing today.